are tuned into your girl, Wise Direction. Let's jump into it. I grew up churched, okay? And so therefore, growing up churched, I used to always have to have a favorite verse, okay? Because when a pastor came around and said, child of God, what's your favorite verse? You better be able to spew one off real quick, or else you would embarrass your grandmama and your aunties and you would be in trouble, okay? And so growing up, I had my favorite verse, so I got it tattooed on my arm, okay? I was about 19 when I got it tattooed on my arm. So years passed, and the other day I'm sitting up there doing my studying to show thyself approved, and I'm reading this scripture, and I'm into this passage, and I'm like, oh my goodness, this is so me. The lights are going off in my brain, and I get to the end of the scripture, the last verse, and it's the verse that I got tattooed on my arm. Now, 10 years that I had this verse tattooed on my arm, and I had never read the scripture, the entire passage that goes with it, right? So I'm calling all my friends like, hey, have you ever read this scripture? Have you ever read this scripture? And they like, nah, sis, I ain't never read this scripture. And I'm like, man, whatever, this scripture is so me. You know, the clarity was so clear. So the next day comes, which was yesterday, and I receive a text message from a different colleague, and she's like, yes, sis, I just reaching out because I'm feeling so discouraged, okay? And I said, you feeling discouraged? And I said, and I automatically thought about it. I said, there's two types of people in this world, okay? There's the people who just have faith, okay? And those people, they're your prayers and stuff like that. And they be praying, and waiting for a miracle, okay? Let me tell you something. Your miracle ain't coming, all right? And then it's the people who just say, forget prayer, I don't got time for that. I'm just going to hustle, okay? Hustle all you want, but it's not going to be sustainable. And then it's those people who understand that to make a good quality cake, okay, you need all the ingredients, which means that you need the faith and the prayers as well as the hustle and the work. All right. So I'm saying, sis, you know, she like, I just feel so discouraged. I'm not getting where I'm trying to get in life. And I'm like, you know, she's like, I like, what's your cake look like? She's like, well, I'm doing the work and I have the faith and da-da-da. And so I said, okay, let's look at your cake. What is it missing? She said, well, what you mean? I got all the ingredients. I said, yes. But just because you have all the ingredients doesn't mean it's ready to eat. You first have to let it bake. And let me tell you something about baking, okay? Some of y'all make them box cakes, and that's all cool, right? That box cake got a little bit of hustle in it, and it's done. Or a little bit of faith in there, and it's done. And when it come out, you can make it look real dope and pretty, okay? And it look real nice to the eyes. But the thing about making things look dope and pretty is that looks fade, right? Looks fade from our memory. Okay, but when you make that good old 7-Up cake, like the one my grandma used to make, okay, the smell of it and the taste of it is imprinted in your memory bank, okay? So you go ahead with your little box cake, okay, and it may look pretty, but that'll all fade. But if you take your time and you be patient and make that homemade cake and let that thing bake, sis, be patient with that baking, you're going to appreciate the end quality. So I remembered about the scripture that I was reading, and I shared it with her, and I said it took me 10 years after I got this tattooed on my arm to recognize that everything that I went through had purpose long before I ever recognized that call. All right, so I want all of y'all to do me a favor, okay, and get back in that kitchen and bake you a good quality homemade cake with all the ingredients, and make sure you be patient, okay? Because my grandmother been going over 14 years, and people still talk about her food and how it made them feel and what it tastes like. And that's quality, that's sustainability, and that is the type of life you want to live. Have a wonderful, wonderful day.